Welcome to VSB News Online for Tuesday, August the 25th. I'm Charles Webb. Premier Michael Dunkley is halfway through his whirlwind visit to the United Kingdom to prepare the diplomatic groundwork for the upcoming Overseas Territories Annual Conference. He spoke to VSB News' Brian Darby from London as he dashed from one meeting to another and admitted that the meeting he will be having with the new British Foreign Secretary, Philip Hammond, on Wednesday was something of a coup.
Tomorrow, the meeting with the Foreign Secretary. Yesterday, we met with David Gauck, and we discussed the public register issue and beneficial ownership. Obviously, the minister is well aware of Bermuda's position and has been a big supporter of Bermuda on this matter. And so I took the opportunity to go through the matter again and make sure that we are on the same page and where we would go going forward, and just stress Bermuda's role in always being one in holding our jurisdiction to the highest level and taking every step we can to make sure that our partners in business down there uphold to the highest standards, and we tackle financial corruption in any way we can. And I think the reputation is solid over here with the current UK government. They appreciate the role that the BMA takes in vetting company applications, and they appreciate how the government in Bermuda has always been strenuous in making sure that we deal with legislation in an appropriate way. And so it was a good opportunity to meet somebody who has the ear of the Prime Minister on these matters and who will work closely with going forward. Today, had the opportunity to meet with Sir David Amos a few minutes ago. So David is recently knighted and has over 30 years of parliamentary experience at the highest level, sat in cabinet, and he is now taking over as chair of the All Bermuda Parliamentary Group. So it was a good opportunity for me as Premier to get to meet him and build the relationship, and look forward to working with him going forward. We updated on where Bermuda stands with improving tourism, increasing business, creating opportunities for Bermudans, turning our economy around. Obviously, the matter of beneficial ownership came up. And we talked about, when we talked about tourism, we talked about the opportunity to increasing airlift out of the UK. So I think Sir David, with the tremendous amount of experience he had, will be a great ally for us in Bermuda. And then just recently met with Minister John Whittendale, who's the Minister of Culture, Media and Sport, and we focused in on the America's Cup and how we make sure we get that event running in the best possible way, and a legacy that we can continue on after the America's Cup. And we talked about the World Heritage Site in St. George's and the potential to increase our visitor arrivals, because there are so many visitors that travel to World Heritage Sites, and the UK is willing to work with us in that regard. So it's been a busy day today, and I think it's been very productive in cementing and building relationships.
The freighter MV Bermuda Islander is expected to arrive here Friday morning after running aground near Philadelphia last night. The vessel briefly lost power and propulsion as a result of water in the auxiliary fuel supply, according to a Maya Freight Limited spokesman, local agents. Without power, the vessel was grounded in a shallow area adjacent to the main shipping channel, where she remained until high tide this morning. The spokesman said the ship was successfully refloated and returned under her own power to the Salem Pier, where the U.S. Coast Guard and class surveyors are performing inspections. Independent Senator James Jardine made it quite clear in the Senate yesterday that he and many other Bermudians are counting on Finance Minister Bob Richards meeting the terms of the British letter of entrustment before they can give him their full support over the proposed airport redevelopment project.
The Bermuda government and the UK government must agree on what deficiencies identified in the report need to be addressed, and must provide public evidence that the agreed upon deficiencies have indeed been adequately addressed. And further, all of this must be done before any contract can be signed. Paragraph 7 of the entrustment letter deals with keeping the UK government fully informed as to the progress of the negotiations. Far not clear on when we move to Phase 2, although I understand since we've been sitting in here, there appears to be a move to Phase 2, if I understand that correctly. But it is important to know, since it is this point, as I understand it according to the Minister in previous statements that he's made, that the Bermuda government would incur significant financial penalties should it subsequently abandon the deal. But again, if a Phase 2 has been signed today, perhaps it's not the Phase 2 that I thought it was going to be, but something entirely different. But it would seem to me there's no contracts can be signed until Sections 6 and 7 of this entrustment letter have been satisfied. I just want to finish by again reiterating the importance of making sure that we follow the requirements of this entrustment letter. And that means making sure that there is agreement between the Bermuda government and the UK government on what gaps need to be closed, and that there is full disclosure of those once they're done to the Bermuda public.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
Although Tropical Storm Erica is continuing along much the same path as Hurricane Denny at this time, and should encounter the same hostile conditions that killed off the season's first hurricane, weather forecasters are beginning to watch a weather system coming off the southeast coast of the U.S. that could bend the storm away from the Bahamas and towards the northeast and the Bermuda area. Erica is likely to have become a Category 1 hurricane just ahead of this development. The opposition senators voted yesterday against the bill that delays increases in the land purchase fees for 18 months so as not to prejudice sales worth $124 million in the offing. Leader Diallo Raban said he had no faith in government's argument that it made good business sense.
What assurances are we going to ever have that these taxes will ever be rescinded? I can see us coming to the end of this, the sunset of this clause, and the real estate agent saying, hey, wait a minute, we got some more people whose transactions are just about complete. You need to delay again. And, you know, so where does it stop? That's basically what I'm asking. When and where is this going to stop? We either keep them how they are, or, you know, we put them back to where they are, where they were previously, or allow them to expire. What we have, we already know the feeling out there about what happened the last time, early on this year, when it came to reducing the taxes for certain persons in Bermuda, and how people felt about that, and they expressed their opinion. Unfortunately, it disrupted these chambers in a way that probably shouldn't have happened, but did happen. But that is the people expressing their opinion on the things that the One Bermuda Alliance is doing. And like I said, we've done this before, and the same rationale was given: stimulate the market, we'll get properties moving, these people will buy properties, they'll have them renovated, and the like. So another question I do have is, in the 2 years that we've had these breaks, how many properties were sold? How much stimulation did the breaks bring in these 2 years that they've been here? And now that we're extending it, what are we expected to get from extending these breaks? And really, Madam President, that's I don't really want to, prolong this particular debate. We didn't support it then, and we just can't support it now. Simple.
The final exhibition of the Bermuda National Gallery's private collection series features the work of Canadian artist Jean-Paul Riopelle, a name that may not resonate with Bermudians, but to Canadians he is very familiar. There is a Bermuda connection, though, as gallery director Lisa Howie notes. Some of Riopel's work is reminiscent of our own Bermudian artist, Alfred Birdsey.
I didn't know Alfred Birdsey personally, but I am aware that his story as an artist is that he was able to quickly render a painting. You might even ask for a particular location in Bermuda and he can recall that and he can paint that for you. And you're walking out the door with this wonderful, very expressionist piece. And I think that that's the connection between Alfred Birdsey and Jean-Paul Riopel, is expressionism.
Now, I saw a bit of Miro in some of his works.
Well, Miro, as well as other artists working in that time period, weren't necessarily working towards realism. They didn't look at, say, a series of birds, as Miro was often inspired by, as too was Riopel. They weren't looking at the birds and then rendering them as scientists. They were rendering them as if this was something living, this really made me feel something, and this is how I render that. And you really have to let your imagination fly.
Now, I'm letting my imagination fly. This painting, to me, presents a lot of drama. Now, does that drama come out by the fact that he used a palette knife?
He uses a palette knife, he uses a trowel. This is an artist who is taking the paint from the tube and maybe even applying it directly onto the canvas, very much pushing the paint around the canvas, very liberal, very much a maverick of the day, not attending to any rules related to composition, shape, form, how it's supposed to read, how does it make sense. This was an artist really feeling something and presenting that to us.
Well, I'm glad you used the word maverick, because when I looked him up, he looked kind of very avant-garde.
Well, we don't judge people by their appearance, we hope, but you can certainly say when you see him in his discussions, some of the videotape footage of Jean-Paul, you have to contextualize him. For the Canadians who are listening, they are very much aware of the separatist movement that began in Quebec 50s and 1960s. It's an ongoing discussion in Quebec, and he was very much in the spirit of that, very anti-Toronto, very much anti the establishment, although he has, of course, had retrospectives and is in the collection of the National Gallery in Ottawa. That would never have been one of his goals.
Without being vulgar, I notice that his work now goes up in the millions. Our local private collector must be quite happy.
Well, we're delighted that they are willing to share the work. I think that that's a wonderful opportunity for the Bermuda National Gallery to establish trust with collectors. And this is, of course, our wish for people to come and appreciate the work, not simply because of where Sotheby's has valued it presently, as much as how important it is as an opportunity for us to develop our own interests and aesthetic appreciation.
Now, will the National Gallery be looking at this for next year? Because I've learned a lot through this private collection.
Well,
will you be moving on with this?
Thank you for saying so. I'm delighted for you to say that. The private collection series is definitely ongoing. We have been told of significant artworks that are potentially available for us to show, and so the request is still open. Perhaps through this newscast, people will come forward with further works.
And now we turn to another artist, Earl Baisden, with the latest from the Sports Desk.
Bermuda's two World Track and Field Championship competitors, Tyrone Smith and Trey Houston, had a rough day in China. Smith finished 10th in the men's long jump final during the World Track and Field Championships in Beijing. Smith recorded a leap of 7.79 meters on his first attempt and then fouled on his second. After his first two attempts, Smith was in 8th place. Smith recorded a foul on his third attempt and finished in 10th, with the top 8 continuing. Houston began his quest for another sprint as he took to the track for the men's 200-meter event. Houston competed in Heat 5, finished 8th, clocking a time of 20.92, failing to advance to the next round. Benjamin Jones and Cairo Morton continued representing Bermuda at the 2015 ITF GSDF Caribbean 12 and Under Cotex Team Championships going on in Curacao. The boys are under the watchful eye of coach Javon Witter. The Bermuda pair are now 2-0 after defeating Antigua 3-0. Morton defeated Aiden Fuller in straight sets, 4-love, 4-love, while Jones defeated Seth Joseph in straight sets, 4-love, 4-1. Morton and Jones then teamed up for the doubles and defeated Fuller and Joseph, 4-love, 4-love. The final round of the Western County Cup competition, as well as Bermuda Cricket Board's Premier and First Division matches, took center stage this past weekend, and now we take a look at the top performers. In the batting department, Tamiko Wilson from Western Stars was the top scorer for the weekend with a knock of 122 in his team's First Division win over St. George's Cricket Club. Rudolph Pitcher from St. David's Cricket Club was the second best top scorer for the weekend, scoring 97 against Southampton Rangers. Shannon Rayner scored 63 for the Southampton Rangers, against his former club, St. David's Cricket Club. With figures of 10 overs, 1 maiden, 8 wickets for 40 runs, it saw Derek Brangman from Southampton Rangers return the best bowling figures of the week in his team's Premier Division win over St. David's Cricket Club. D'Amico James from Warwick Workmen's Club was the weekend's second top bowler, returning figures of 10 overs, 2 maidens, 4 for 19 in their match against Somerset Bridge Recreation Club. Alan Douglas Jr., a guest player for Warwick Workmen's, returned the third best figures of the weekend as he bowled 8.4 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 32. The Bermuda Bowl Hockey League season continued at the PCC hockey rink last evening, where a total of 31 goals were scored in a doubleheader. The Paget Pistols opened the evening with a 7-5 victory over the St. George's Generals. Chris Grantier led the Paget Pistols with a hat trick. Adam Mattal scored twice, while Joel Neal and Greg Vandermeer added a goal each. Jeffrey Engelman scored 4 times for the St. George's Generals, while Owen Cease added the other. The nightcap produced a total of 19 goals, with the Pembroke Pirates defeating the Somerset Snappers 10-9 in overtime. The Pirates had a 7-3 lead at the end of the second period, but the Somerset Snappers would outscore the Pirates 6-2 in the third period, sending the game into overtime, where Adam Chivas would score the winner. Jacob Amlong led the way for the Pembroke Pirates with 5 goals. Chivas scored 4 times. Max Bovin scored the other. Christopher Jackson and Matthew Benson scored a hat-trick each for the Somerset Snappers, while Jeff Marash, Matt Kez, and Ian Bohin all scored a goal each. Mansfield Town football manager Adam Murray has admitted that he had to apologize to rookie referee Ben Toner after Saturday's 1-1 home draw with Oxford United, after seeing on a replay that Reggie Lamb's challenge was in the box, which gave Oxford their equalizing penalty. Murray is quoted as saying, "It wasn't like Lamb. He's normally very cool and composed, but he turned into Jackie Chan for about 10 seconds. It's disappointing as we were in control of that situation. We dealt with the cross, which was a great ball, and then we go and make a rash decision like that. I haven't got a clue what was in Lamb's mind, but I will be speaking with him about the season in general." End quote. Footy Promotions partnered with the world's leading football tryout company to host the professional football tryout and assessment. Zinzi Zul, president of Footy Promotions, is quoted as saying, "We are delighted to announce that 7 Bermudian players have been scouted by professionals and semi-pro clubs. The 7 include Aaron Burgess, Kenori Scott, Kaylee Crockwell, Jarrett Richardson, Jalen Greaves, Jakari Frebert, and Cole Hall. Sue Edney, along with former Bermuda residents Kim McMullen and Rianne Norday, competed in the British Columbia Olympic Distance Triathlon Age Group Championships. Competing in the female 50 to 54 age group, Edney finished 206 overall. She was 55th out of 122 females, and she was the 7th female finisher in her division, clocking a time of 2 hours, 56 minutes, and 7 seconds. McMullen finished 74th overall with a time of 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 53 seconds. She was the 14th female finisher overall, and she finished second in the division of competing in the female 45 to 49 age group. Norday finished 15th overall, crossing the line in a time of 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 7 seconds. He was the 14th male finisher and was second in the men's 35 to 39 age group. I'm Earl Baston reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Wednesday, August the 26th, there will be sunny periods with a few showers and a risk of thunder. Winds will be west, southwesterly and moderate, decreasing light to moderate in the evening. The high will be 85 or near there. The low will be near 76. Thank you for watching VSB News Online for Tuesday, August the 25th. I'm Charles Webb.